missed out on like a big career opportunity during the pandemic. It bothers me. I almost got to do a show with the BBC. They came to Seattle. They did a whole art show, and they said, "Look, can you just send us some jokes you have about Seattle?" And that's when I realized I've lived here forever, and I've never written a joke about Seattle. And I thought about it. It drove me crazy, and I realized I think why that is because I don't think Seattle is funny in a way that I want to joke about. Does that make sense to you guys? Like, you know, it's supposed to be centered around truth. The truth I've ever heard about Seattle is how it's crumbling, it's dying, it's so much worse than it ever was. Like, I was doing a show out in the Midwest, and this old couple told me they were from Seattle, but they left while the getting was good. I asked, when was that? They said 1973. Like, I don't know how to make a joke about any of that. It's not funny like it's something I want to make a joke about, you know, like it's not funny like an accidental fart, right? Like you're going to give your dog a treat and they get too excited and they let one slip, you know. It's joyfully funny. That's good for everybody. But Seattle's more funny like the fact that when you die, you will almost certainly shit your pants. Not as funny, but true. Like that's how I feel about it. It's not funny like I got onto an airplane recently. I was in the exit row and a woman sat down next to me and they asked us if we knew how to do the exit row thing. And we all said yes. And then she turned to me and she says, if anything goes down, you got to help me out. I have no idea how to open that door. And I was like, ma'am, I've done it 1,000,000 times. Like, it's not funny like that. It's more funny like when my grandmother had cancer for like 6 years, so it was a long, you know, like halfway through, we didn't know it was halfway through at that point, but halfway through we decided to have a celebration of life. We thought that would be a beautiful thing. So we all gathered in my uncle's place and we sat around the table and we told stories that we had shared with her, and it was just this beautiful moment. But at some point, and I was sitting next to my grandmother, I stood up to go to the restroom and I hit my head on the chandelier above the table. Now, my aunt and uncle are fucking weirdos, so they don't have an electric chandelier. It's candles. And so I hit my head and it dumps candle wax all down my face and all over my dying grandmother. Yeah, and so I ran to the bathroom and tried to peel all the wax off my face and not face the rest of my family after I did that. And like, that's kind of how Seattle's funny. Seattle's not funny like my favorite fried chicken place, and I know it's not the best one, but it was right next to where I live. I live right next to a Baka Bak, in between a gas station and a Baka Bak. So my entire life, the whole pandemic, has been drinking until I need chicken. Okay. It's been pretty good, but I had to stop going to Baka Bak because at one point I went in there a little too drunk and I tried to order a couple thighs, but I just forgot the word thighs, so I asked the kid behind the counter for a couple of chicken hips. And I knew it was like the dumbest thing I had ever said. Because he was immediately like, could you say that again, please? He had his cell phone out. I was like, you motherfucker. He pulled that microphone up and he was like, there's a guy out here asking me for chicken hips. Can someone advise me? I don't know if you've ever heard the sound of an entire kitchen just stop work and start laughing at you together. It's devastating. One guy even popped out. He was like, you just want hips? We got elbows and knees. If you give me a second, I will fry you up a chicken titty right now. It's not funny like that, you know. Seattle's funny like after my grandmother passed away, we decided it would be beautiful to go spread her ashes, so we went to her favorite beach. And the thing I really loved about my grandmother was she had a lot of like key phrases she would use, and one of her favorite ones was that she would go wherever the wind takes her. Like if you ask her what she was doing that day, she would say, I'm going wherever the wind takes me. And I thought that was beautiful. So we got her ashes and we thought we would spread them into the wind on our favorite beach. And so we went as a family, all together as a unit, and we started throwing the ashes up in the air. And the wind, of course, took the ashes and blew them away until the wind changed. It blew it back into all of our faces. And for a very poignant minute and a half, we were all bent over hawking up grandmother Lucas. And that's kind of how Seattle is funny to me.